It's a very serious issue, and for about the past 10 years, it's really become on the forefront of our minds in the fire service. And definitely there's a lot of data out there to indicate how serious the problem is. So we're definitely appreciative that we're able to have this opportunity to bring this awareness to the region. One of the biggest things that's changed over the years is what is actually burning and how we make things in our households, the chemicals that are used. You may have heard about PFAS. That's been in the news a lot recently, forever chemicals. And so that's what's burning. That's what we're being exposed to, on top of things like diesel exhaust. And so we've really become aware of what we've been exposed to in the past 20, 30 years. And it's worse than what it was, back in the old days of firefighting.
Spotsylvania's been on the, you've been on top of this, and Spotsylvania's trying to do what you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say it was 8 or 9 years ago we started with a lot of initiatives, being diesel exhaust capture systems. We installed those off a federal grant. We have special gear washers for our PPE. We have special gear dryers now. We implement a lot of procedures at that time. So we give people 2 sets of gear. We've enhanced our physical program every year, and these screenings is another addition this year.
No, there's absolutely a cost to deal with a lot of these programs, to offer the additional screening, we offer the additional equipment to install the systems in our stations and build our new stations in a way that provide additional safety to our folks. However, the cost of treating cancer long term, if we can prevent that on the front end, we're actually going to save a lot of money in that. So, as well as save a lot of the heartache and pain that people have to go through with that.
Well, and to do this shows recruits and people that are interested in working in Spotsylvania. You know about it, you care about it, and you're trying. You're doing everything you can.
Yeah, firefighting itself is an inherently dangerous job. We don't want to have to add the additional dangers of dealing with the carcinogens on top of that. So whatever we can do to minimize that exposure and make it a safer career and encourage more people to participate in those kind of things, the better off we'll be.
We want to make sure that we're providing all the awareness and care for our firefighters who are going to come on board. For those looking at a career in the fire service, we want them to be aware of the risk, but also know that we're doing all that we can using the latest technology, the latest products out there, latest medical research to ensure that they can have a long, healthy career and thereafter when they retire.
Well, and like the chief mentioned, firefighting's dangerous. You know that going in, but this is all of a sudden becomes just something you really pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not only something just in firefighting, but in our world in general, right? Even if you're a citizen or a civilian who's not engaged in firefighting, that danger is there. But also more so in our profession. So we want to make sure that our firefighters know on the front end, as soon as possible, when they think about a career with us and coming in the door, what they can do to mitigate the risk.
And has it changed? Like when you go home after a fight, after you go back to the station, when you go home, I would think that it's changed for personal and your family.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the big changes, back in earlier day, back 30 years ago, 20 years ago even, we weren't really aware of being so quick to change our clothing and take showers. It seems like a pretty rudimentary thing. Or even on the scene of a fire, to clean off our gear. It was kind of like a badge of courage to wear dirty gear and look cool and look tough. Well, now we know that those are some of the worst things you can do. The quicker we can get clean, the quicker we can clean up our gear, our fire truck. That helps us mitigate a lot of risk. Because it's little things like that, the little pieces of information like that really drives home the point of taking care of ourselves appropriately and not bringing the contaminants home as well, to our family, and for our family to feel good about us going to work in a dangerous profession.
It is a significant cultural change for the fire service over the years, where again we used to come in our uniform, leave in our uniform, and whatever we soaked up during the day went home with us to our families. So it's an important change that we need to make and need to continue encouraging. Again, it's become more to light in the past, several years, and we have an awareness of it now. We need to deal with it. I had a cancer diagnosis 13 years ago tomorrow, and at that point, it was just one of those things we thought may or may not happen, and didn't realize the likelihood of it happening in our career. So, it's been a personal focus of mine to make sure that our folks don't have to deal with some of those same challenges I did. And the most we can do to minimize their exposures, to limit that exchange also to their families, the more we can do, the better off we're going to be.
So this is personal for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Myself, several very, very close friends that I've served with, dealing with cancer diagnosis and currently fighting that right now. It's definitely personal, and we want to make sure that we minimize that and don't have that happen to more of our firefighters in the future.